Hey, McArthur, let me know when you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, I can.
Cool, cool, cool.
Awesome. How are you? How was your holiday?
It was good. It was very very busy. It was just like
Yeah?
felt like a lot of like running around.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope that you had some good rest time, some good food, and some quality time with some loved ones mixed in there.
I did. How was yours?
It was good. It was a little more mellow this year. Normally, it's very hectic and full. Like last year, oh man, I was in Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Minnesota, like all within a couple weeks. And we drove all of those
Ooh.
places. So it was a lot. So lots of traveling around. And then I wanted to try to go down to Alabama as well, because I had my grandmother passed away, but I was like, I can't do it. Sorry. But yeah, my aunt passed away too, so we did make it to her funeral, but that was up in Minnesota and they were like within a couple days of each other and I had already committed to help with my aunts and I was like, I
Mm.
can't do it all. Um, so yeah, it was a lot last year, but with having a new puppy, he's only 4 months old. We were like, we won't
Ooh.
inflict him on anyone yet. But yeah, he's gonna go through a big training program and everything. But he right now is 4 months and he's very loving, very playful. But he does think that like nipping at you is fun. And so we're like,
Mm.
yeah, no. It's not like he's gonna hurt you. It's more like play nipping, but he'll like tug at your pants and stuff, and it's just annoying.
Gotcha.
So we're like, he's big energy right now. We're gonna keep him home. So we did see a little bit of family and like we had friends actually. We hung out with friends a lot this year. So I made a Christmas ham and I made a big brunch and like a big charcuterie thing. So we did have friends over a couple times, which was really fun. And I made a banana cream pie like myself, and that was really good. And so it's been good. I also helped a family member move this weekend, so I'm very sore today. But it's been like more mellow generally, though this weekend was just a lot of moving things. So by the end, like my husband and I both were like, "Wow, we're so sore today." So, but it's okay. I mean, I was like, "Hey, it's a workout, right?"
Right.
Getting strong. So, yeah. So it was actually pretty mild, pretty mellow. And then my birthday was yesterday, so we went and had fancy tea and some key lime pie and carrot cake at this little tea shop place, which was fun. And we watched Penelope because I love that movie, so that was fun. So
Nice,
that's just kind
nice.
of like pretty mellow, but it was just what I wanted to do for my birthday. So good stuff. So yeah. I'm 36. I was like, wow, that's like legit. I'm a I'm an official grown up. Like definitely. No one can argue about that at this point. So I chatted with my grandparents and my mom on the phone yesterday. So that was
That's
good. A
good.
birthday
That's
call.
nice.
My grandma has a silly birthday song she sings to us for our birthdays. So
Dope, dope.
yeah. So, yeah, she's probably part of where I get my creative genes because she is an artist. Her main thing is painting. She does watercolors, but she'll like dabble in other things too. And then
Mm.
she was an art teacher a long time, but she's also a clown. Like went to clowning school, has a like trademarked clown face and name and everything. So she did like a clowning troupe and taught us stilt walking and balloon animal making and juggling and stuff. So she's probably a lot of where I get my creative genes.
Oh, that's
She always
dope.
says that I'm the child her dad always wanted. And I'm like, thank you, but it's like a weird compliment because I'm like, also I feel bad for you because clearly you think you're not. So, but yeah, he was like her favorite person in the whole world. So, I mean, I think they had a good relationship. He loved like the performing arts. So and she was more of like a
Mm.
visual artist. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but she does do clogging, which is like a funky tap dancing, and I mean she does other creative things. But yeah, growing up, I'd do art with her and go clogging and do clowning with her. So it's probably a big part of where I, got into all this. So thank you, Grandma. Alrighty, so any like especially fun holiday traditions you guys have?
Not necessarily, not really.
Okay.
It's just
You
kind of
you don't
like,
like go in the forest and chop down a tree or like
nah, we're
have
very
certain
much.
foods like Christmas Kringle was a thing in my house growing up that we usually always had. We didn't have it this year. It was like the first year I didn't have Kringle in my whole life. But yeah, so yeah, so just like general normal holiday things, just like
It's just
get
fun.
together with family, eat
Yeah,
food,
bring a lot
open
of food.
presents. I mean,
Yeah,
that's still holiday traditions. That's good. Good stuff. Quality time. I feel like my family tended to overload our holidays to the point where it was like annoying how many things we had to do.
I feel
They
you.
just
I
kept
feel
us
you.
hopping and going from like house to house and visiting everyone. So, but it was
Mm.
fun. As a kid, it was fun because no responsibility. But as an adult, I'm like, ugh, that's a lot.
Y'all took us to all these places? Nah, man.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll just stay home with the dogs. I'm good. I'm good here. Alrighty. Well, so um diving in. Okay, so tell me what you've done since I saw you and kind of what you feel like good goals for today would be. Things you would like us to focus on, kind of setting an intention for this session, what you would like to accomplish, um, and like any reflections on what we did last time and what stuck with you, what was helpful in that session.
Um, I would say like what I've worked on is like I redid the intro for the book.
Yeah, yeah, right. You
Redid
told me you were going
that.
to work on that. So I'm glad you were able to get to that and get that wrapped up. That's exciting.
I would say I think it sounds good, but sorry,
Oh, it's okay.
but like I definitely was like, oh man, like I gotta take a break in between these because like I could feel like this was not natural for my throat. Because I was like, yeah, I'm
Right.
just gonna go on to chapter one. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna get chapter one done these next couple of
Mm,
days because I did like the first kind of like half of it, and then when I kind of got to like the list of the fascination with haunted town, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break before I hit this. And then I did
right.
that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a break before I hit like kind of like the final part. And I was just like, oh, okay, so my throat can't do this all at once. So I
Right.
learned.
Just
So
like
I learned
never
that.
ending.
Yeah. So
Well, and that's another consideration too. I love that you pointed that out, the stamina. But then you also mentioned particularly that it's like this type of voice, right? So it's not necessarily mm, the reading that's doing it, it's the longevity, like how much you do at once. And also
mm,
another consideration is going to be um like you're creating kind of it's like a character voice for this, but you're narrating. So as a general rule, I like to not do a character voice for narration. I try to stick with my natural voice when I'm doing narration. And that is exactly why. It is because I'm trying to protect my voice and be able to do more work. Because, I mean, I haven't even been auditioning very much, and I've got like 10 projects in the queue right now. So, and like one of them is late. So, um, so like I have too many things to be able to just be like, oh, like I can't record. But so what I usually recommend is typically like I think it's totally fine, for especially when you're learning to be like experimenting with your voices and being like, okay, what can I do with this? And creating, the ambiance and whatnot. I usually reserve creating like a new character that's very different from my natural voice that's like more fatiguing, I usually try to save that for like particular characters or maybe like a short story or maybe like a commercial that's a shorter project. Um, so that's just like a general rule. Now, if you have, just the one project on your lap and like you have a little bit more time to take, like you don't have the pressure of like, oh, I have to get this turned in by a certain date or time. I think that's okay, to be like, I'm gonna, use a character voice for this. So I think that's a totally viable option for that. But just in the future, I just would recommend that you use your natural, just kind of regular voice. Um, and then just really work on using your breath to support the sound and having no vocal strain or, like tension and that kind of thing. What you're doing is a little bit of like a husky sound for this, right? It's more of a, like I would say it has like an airy quality, like a darker, richer, it's deeper than your default. Um, it has that kind of like airy quality and raspiness to it. Like a smoky, I think is better than raspy to describe. Um, so that's going to be a little bit more fatiguing. So just keeping that in mind for yourself too, that it's like, okay, this is going to be more fatiguing. And then also, I recommend taking breaks in between. So, like, work for a half hour, take a 5 minute break. Work for an hour, go take a 15-minute break, right? And I do that all the time because that's going to help me be able to record for like 9 hours in a day. So, so taking like small breaks more often, and I try to like drink water through the day. Entertainer's Secret is like a throat spray that you can use, or I'll like suck on honey lozenges, like the Manuka honey lozenges, are very soothing to the throat. They help clear out like any congestion you might have or like drainage. I have chronic allergies, so they really help with that. But they're also just very soothing. You can sip like herbal teas because they're going to be really hydrating and soothing as well. Like throat coat tea is a great one with like licorice root, which like creates like a coating over your throat, which is really soothing. Um, so just like being really mindful of caring for your voice. And then when I have really big projects or very fatiguing projects, I try to be very conscious of how I use my voice when I'm not recording as well and just preserving it, resting it in between sessions.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think you've created this really great spooky sound. So I love that. Like, let's go ahead and keep that. And, if people hear that and like it, they're going to be like, oh, cool. Like, they might hire you for a project for a character with a spooky voice or something. So, um, it's not that I feel like you should redo everything and like stop doing it at this point. It's more that you'll just have to be mindful of stamina and that you are doing a vocal technique that is a little bit more fatiguing to the voice.
Copy that. Copy that.
Yeah. Like I have a few children's books I'm working on right now, and some of the characters are real, they're pretty fatiguing vocal characters, and they're like anthologies of children's stories or like multiple chapter children's stories. Um, and they can be pretty fatiguing. So I'll switch off, like I'll work on that for a couple hours and then I'll be like, okay, put that away. And now I'm just going to do like regular narration for a little while. And then I'll like take a break and then I'll do like a commercial and then I'll take a break, you know? Um, so I don't just try to do like 10 hours straight of just like crazy character
Mm.
voices because that can be, it's fun, but it's fatiguing. So
Right.
yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, good observations there. And then today, did we want to keep working on the book then?
Yeah, I'm down with it.
All
I'm
right,
down with
great.
that.
So what is our next section that we want to work on here?
I would say chapter 2.
Okay, chapter two, let's do it.
So, Chapter 2, Savannah. Southern Elegance and Eerie Encounters. Savannah, Georgia is a city of unparalleled charm and beauty, known for its historic district, antebellum architecture, and quintessential Southern hospitality. But beneath its genteel exterior lies a city with a hauntingly rich history, where the past and the paranormal. Oh, so sorry about it.
Could we practice it? So one thing right now, we're just kind of running through it, like our first take. So instead of doing like the smoky voice right now, can we try having you just read it through one time in your regular voice, just kind of getting the patterns and the flow and the phrasing so that you're practicing other elements of it, like the clarity, the diction, seeing if there are words that are kind of funky in there. So you're practicing these other elements without having to overly fatigue your voice. So let's try reading through the first time just in your regular voice.
Yeah. Do you just want that like first section or the whole chapter in the regular voice?
Um, yeah, let's try the whole thing.
Chapter 2, Savannah. Southern Elegance and Eerie Encounters. Savannah, Georgia is a city of unparalleled charm and beauty, known for its historic district, antebellum architecture, and quintessential Southern hospitality. But beneath its genteel exterior lies a city with a hauntingly rich history, where the past and the paranormal coexist in a captivating dance of elegance and eerie encounters. In this chapter, we delve into the into sorry.
Oh, it's
we
okay.
do we delve into the captivating stories of Savannah, a place where the supernatural weaves its enigmatic tapestry amidst the moss-draped oaks and cobblestone streets. The Mercer Williams house, midnight in the garden. Our journey into Savannah's ghostly secrets begins with a visit to the Mercer Williams house, made famous in John Burnett's best-selling book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This grand mansion, designed by noted architect John S. Norris in the 19th century, is renowned not only for its architectural beauty, but for the enigmatic spirits that are said to reside within its walls. As we explore the Mercer Williams house, we'll unravel the mysteries of the Mercer family, the tragic story of Jim Williams, and the unexplained phenomenon that have been reported by those who have crossed its threshold. Ghostly apparitions, eerie footsteps, and the lingering sense of the past have made this mansion a focal point for Savannah's spectral tales. Colonial Park Cemetery, Tales of Restless Spirits. Colonial Park Cemetery, located in the heart of Savannah's historic district, is a place where the dead rest beneath ancient oak trees, surrounded by historic markers and aged tombstones. But it's not a place of eternal peace. Rather, it is said to be a resting ground for restless spirits. We'll delve into the history of the cemetery, which dates back to the 18th century, and explore the tales of spectral encounters that visitors have reported, from phantom figures wandering among the graves to inexplicable sounds and eerie sensations. Colonial Park Cemetery serves as a stark reminder that the line between the living and the dead in Savannah is often blurred. Historic stories from the historic district. The historic district of Savannah is filled with beautifully preserved buildings and squares, but it is also the backdrop for numerous ghostly encounters, from the Kehoe house, where the spirits of the Kehoe children are said to play, to the 17... this always gets me. 1700... Okay, okay. Where the spirits of the Kehoe children are said to play, to the 1790 inn and restaurant, home to one of the city's most famous ghosts, Anna Powers. The stories of hauntings and eerie occurrences in the city are as diverse as they are haunting. In this chapter, we'll explore the rich history of Savannah, its charming streets, and the countless tales of ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, an inexplicable phenomenon. Uh, Excuse me.
You're good.
In this chapter, we'll explore the rich history of Savannah, its charming streets, and the countless tales of ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, and inexplicable phenomena that have become an integral part of this city's fabric. As we journey through the southern elegance and eerie encounters of Savannah, we come to appreciate the complex relationship between history, beauty, and the supernatural in one of the most haunted cities in America. The Mercer Williams House, Midnight in the Garden. The Mercer Williams House is one of Savannah's most iconic and haunted landmarks, partly due to its prominent role in John Burnett's best-selling book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This historic mansion, designed by architect John S. Norris and completed in 1868, is an exquisite example of Italian. Is that would it be Italianate? It's like
Italianate, or let's see.
Italianate.
Let's see what the internet says. When in doubt. Ah, Nate, yes.
Italianate. Okay.
Italianate. So more of an
Italianate.
for the first sound as well. I was thinking Italianate, but it's Italianate. Italianate. Italianate.
Italianate. Italianate. Italianate.
Yeah, Italianate.
Italianate.
Yeah, so try it slow a few times and then try it fast. Italianate. Italianate.
Italianate.
Italianate. Italianate. Italianate. Italianate. Hmm.
Italianate.
Yeah, when it's a word
Italianate.
that's like, oh, I've never
Italianate.
encountered that before.
Yeah. I was
I always
like,
like to just look it up just to, like, and I mean, I feel like I've read it. It's more of like saying it that I just haven't really said it. And so I always like to check
I feel you
as
on that.
you don't want to be that person who
Italianate.
narrated it and everyone's like, oh my gosh, what? You pronounce this really weird. I think I
Yeah.
said, what was it? It was like a military word. Like it wasn't colonel, but it was something like that where it's spelled like colonel, you know? Um,
Mm.
yeah, I can't remember what the word was, but it was some like military word. And I had heard the word, and if I heard it, I would have known it. But the way it was spelled was so different. And the author was like, "You said this word real weird." So it was something like colonel, where it's like colonel or whatever, but it wasn't that.
Mm.
It was something else, but it just was like spelled really differently than the way it's pronounced. And I was like, "Oh, oops!" And I had to go back and fix it everywhere. And unfortunately, it was in the book a lot.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, that was quite a ways ago. So anytime I'm at all in doubt, I just look it up. So
That that's funny because like I'm like writing my book now or trying to write
yeah.
a book now, and it's like I was like with an editor and they're like, oh, you should change his name because it's really close to like the main character's name. So it's like you don't
Mm,
want somebody to get confused, and then it was like
yeah.
there's like another word like I was like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta change this because like I think it was like accept, but I spelled it expect, and I was like, how did I not notice that? And that was throughout the whole book, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, I'm
Oh,
so glad Word has search and find, but it was just like, oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Yeah, it like lights it up and makes it red and you're like, "Oh, fix that."
yeah. Because like I think
You
like
can
I was
actually
like,
download, so Grammarly has a paid version, but they also have a free version. So the paid version will give you like suggestions on how to rewrite things, make it like have different vocal tones, that kind of stuff. But the regular version just tells you if it's like spelling and grammar, and it's developed by like English teachers. So you can download the
mm,
free version and it will like pop up once a day and be like, "Hey, do you want to upgrade to premium?" And you just say no. But you can like it'll do all the like correct editing for you. It'll tell you all the things that need to be adjusted to be like grammatically and spelling wise correct. So that might
mm.
be a good idea just to download that. And then that'll just tell you, what needs to be redone. and it just fixes it. Like you just accept the fixin'. So they're like, "Hey, do you want to fix this?" And you're like, "Yes, please." And you just click accept and it does it for you. So, um, obviously, always check what it says, but
I feel it. Yeah, gotta
yeah,
look into
so that
that.
could be helpful. Okay, great. So, yeah, so I think just
Italian.
reading through once in your regular voice so you can catch things like Italianate. Yeah, see, I still want to say it the way I was going to say it before. So, just like reinforcing that. I finished a book recently that was so long and had so many words I did not know how to pronounce. And I would be like, I just looked this up like 5 minutes ago, and I would still look it up again. Just to be sure. I was like, I gotta check it. So yeah, it's just that accuracy is important. So, all right. So now I would say that we've got, the full picture. We can go back and try adding in that voice. Um, and I would say like practice it as much as you need to without adding that voice in. And then try adding it in once you feel like you've got the flow and the phrasing and the accents and, all the word pronunciation, all that other stuff is ready. And then, shift your focus to creating the voice after everything else is good to go. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
I
that'll
feel
help
it.
with that vocal fatigue.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Copy that. Copy that.
All right. So then, do you feel like you're ready then to try the voice?
I will try. Can I
All
get
right.
your
I mean, I thought the last read through was pretty good. I would say try to think a little bit about those strong point of views and think about mm, basically like what words are most important and accenting, bringing those out. Thinking more about like how you feel about people, places, and things, that kind of thing. Yeah. And
Okay.
letting that shine through a bit more.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great.
All right. Chapter 2, Savannah. Southern Elegance and Eerie Encounters. Savannah, Georgia is a city of unparalleled charm and beauty, known for its historic district, antebellum architecture, and quintessential Southern hospitality. But beneath its genteel exterior lies a city with a hauntingly rich history, where the past and the paranormal coexist in a captivating dance of elegance and eerie encounters. In this chapter, we'll delve into this captivating stories of Savannah, a place where the supernatural weaves its enigmatic tapestry amidst the moss-draped oaks and cobblestone streets. The Mercer Williams house, midnight in the garden. Our journey into Savannah's ghostly secrets begins with a visit to the Mercer Williams house, made famous in John Barnett's best-selling book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This grand mansion, designed by noted architecture John S. Norris, the 19th century, is renowned not only for its architectural beauty, but for the enigmatic spirits that are said to reside within its walls. As we explore the Mercer Williams house, we'll unravel the mysteries of the Mercer family, the tragic story of Jim Williams, and the unexplained phenomenon that have been reported by those who have crossed its threshold. Ghostly apparitions, eerie footsteps, and the lingering sense of the past have made this mansion a focal point for Savannah spectral tales. Colonial Park Cemetery, Tales of Restless Spirits. Colonial Park Cemetery, located in the heart of Savannah's historic district is a place where the dead rest beneath ancient oak trees, surrounded by historic markers and aged tombstones. But it's not a place of eternal peace. Rather, it is said to be a resting ground for restless spirits. We'll delve into the history of this cemetery, which dates back to the 18th century, and explore the tales of spectral encounters that visitors have reported, from phantom figures wandering among the graves to inexplicable sounds and eerie sensations. Colonial Park Cemetery serves as a stark reminder that the line between the living and the dead in Savannah is often blurred. Did you want me to keep going? Or
That was really good. How did you like it?
I felt good. It felt good. Surprisingly, I think it's because we just started, but my throat's not hurting as much
That's
right now.
good. Yeah. And I would say too, like you can take breaks, and something that's going to help your voice as well is you can do things like run a humidifier like on your tabletop, get a small one, or you can get like a nebulizer, a small nebulizer, like a portable one, and then like breathe in the saline solution and it'll
Mm,
directly hydrate your vocal folds. And those are only like 20 to 30 bucks. Like you can get those pretty cheap. But you can also just take like regular water. And if you gargle it like that, it's going to hydrate your throat and help as well. I find that is really, really soothing and just helps kind of reset the throat. So that's something you can try as well. You know, just take those little
copy that.
breaks and kind of hydrate your throat and your vocal folds, and it'll help. Okay.
Copy that.
But I'm
Copy
glad to
that.
hear you're feeling good. But yeah, kind of considering things like how have you been using your voice? Like, have you been to a concert and been like belting out, or, been in a noisy restaurant, like shouting over other people, at a noisy bar kind of thing?
Right.
All of that's going to play into that too. So, yeah. All right. So good. I'm glad to hear your voice is feeling good. Um, and remember to like really trusting the breath to do the bulk of the work. All right. Making sure you don't have any like tension, basically from the shoulders up. Try to release your tension that you've got in your body. But yeah, I thought it sounded really good. So if you feel really good with that, let's go ahead and go to the next section because I thought that was really nice.
Copy that. Copy that. Haunted stories from the historic district. The historic district of Savannah is filled with beautifully preserved buildings and squares, but it is also the backdrop for numerous ghostly encounters. From the Keyhole House, where the spirits of the Keyhole children are said to play, to the 1790 inn and restaurant, home to one of the city's most famous ghosts, Anna Powers. The stories of hauntings and eerie occurrences in this city are as diverse as they are haunting. In this chapter, we'll explore the rich history of Savannah, its charming streets, and the countless tales of ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, and inexplicable phenomenon that have become an integral part of the city's fabric. Fabric. I said fabric so weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah, do that phrase again then.
Fabric. 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 I don't know fabric. Okay, yeah. I feel like I was like fabric. I was like, whoa,
I do
that
that
B
all the
is
time. And then I'm like,
weird.
oh, redo that phrase.
Yeah. I was like, man, okay. An inexplicable phenomenon that have become an integral part of the city's fabric. As we journey through the southern elegance and the eerie encounters of Savannah, we come to appreciate the complex relationship between history, beauty, and the supernatural in one of the most haunted cities in America.
Yeah, good. That was better. What do you think of it?
I liked it. I liked it.
Hmm.
Fabric. I don't know why that. I was like
I do feel like
fabric. I was like,
this
man.
last chunk, the one thing I would say is some of the phrases felt a tiny bit choppy, like da da da,
Mm,
da da da, da da da, instead of like, here's one full connected thought. Like even at the end there, it was like every little prepositional phrase was separate. So thinking of if it's still a connected thought, just keep it continuing through if you can.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay. And also try to work on having like smaller catch breaths. If you do take breaths, like shorter phrases more often, instead of like a full da 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 da, a full breath, instead do a little, like a tiny sip, like Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary is. See here how it's like a tiny little catch
Yeah.
breath. You can do shorter phrases and take those little catch breaths instead, and then it'll flow a little bit faster through those spots. And so it
Mm,
won't feel as like separate.
gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So thinking of, is this still a connected thought? And then trying to continue that flow.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Run it back. Let's run it back. Okay. I got, I got this. Ooh. Haunted stories from the historic district. The historic district of Savannah is filled with beautiful.
That's all right. Just back up and try again.
The historic district of Savannah is filled with beautifully preserved buildings and squares, but it's also the backdrop for numerous ghostly encounters, from the Kehoe house, where the spirits of the Kehoe children are said to play, to the 1790 Inn and restaurant, home to one of the city's most famous ghosts, Anna Powers. The stories of hauntings and eerie occurrences in this city are as diverse as they are haunting. In this chapter, we'll explore the rich history of Savannah, its charming streets, and the countless tales of ghostly apparitions, unexplained sounds, and the inexplicable phenomenon that have become an integral part of the city's fabric. As we journey through the southern elegance and eerie encounters of Savannah, we come to appreciate the complex relationship between history, beauty, and the supernatural in one of the most haunted cities in America.
Nice. Good. That was better. The flow was better. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And there are definitely moments to have a longer pause, like take a moment to like take a little longer when it's more conclusive and then it's a stronger shift into something new.
Mm,
Because it's gonna give a more powerful punch to that next start. Yeah.
yeah, I feel you on that.
It draws more focus to the next thing you say then, and it makes it feel more important. So, um,
Mm,
so I want you to try thinking about, is this a place where it makes sense to have a longer phrase? Is it a place where it makes sense to do like smaller short phrases? The dramatic pause moments and where it makes sense to just take like a little sip of breath. Yeah. So as you do that first read through, like in your regular voice, be kind of watching for that as you
mm.
go. All right. Awesome. Good. So, generally though, that was so much better. So I want you to go ahead and try the next section.
The Mercer Williams house. Midnight in the garden. The Mercer Williams house is one of Savannah's most iconic and haunted.
You're good. Try try going and then swallow. Yeah, and that should kind of clear the throat without the harshness of like a full-on cough. A laryngologist told me that. Alrighty,
Copy
so let's
that.
go ahead and
Copy
try that
that.
again.
The Mercer Williams House is one of Savannah's most iconic and haunted landmarks, partly due to its prominent role in John Burnett's best-selling book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This historic mansion, designed by architect John S. Norris and completed in 1868, is an exquisite example of Italianate architecture. The house exudes a sense of grandeur. I don't think I said that right. Grandeur?
Grandeur, yeah.
Grandeur, okay. It sounded so wrong when I said it for some reason. Grandeur, okay. Uh, the house exudes a sense of grandeur with its posing facade, ornate ironwork. Oh, why is that getting me? Ornate
That's okay. Slow
ironwork.
it down.
Ornate ironwork and metallic. Meticulous. Meticulous. Meticulous landscaped gardens. The house exudes a sense of grandeur with its imposing facade, ornate ironwork, and meticulously landscaped gardens. Meticulous. Meticulously? Meticulously?
Meticulously.
Meticulously. Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously. Meticulously. Oh, that's a tough one. It's 5 syllables. Yeah. Meticulously.
Leslie. Meticulously. Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously. Meticulously.
Meticulously.
Meticulously.
So it's like the
Meticulously
second syllable and then
landscape
the last
gardens.
syllable are accented. I know. That's a tricky one. Meticulously. Do you want to just say it like 5 times in a row? And then try fitting it into the phrase as well, like do a few words before, a few words after, and try that a few times. Hmm.